Hello and welcome to the Eurogamer newscast. It's the 29th of April, 2021, and I am joined once again by Eurogamer news editor Tom Phillips. Say hello, Tom.
Hello there.
And Eurogamer reporter Emma Kent. Say hello, Emma.
Hiya.
I'm Wesley, editor of Eurogamer, and we have another week's worth of video game news to dig into this week. But before we get into that, let's do our traditional what we've been playing catch up. I'm going to start with you, Emma, just in anticipation of Tom saying something really boring. So let's start off with more excitement. What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Valheim. No, I've also been playing Apex Legends. There's a different answer this week.
Wow.
Because Apex is obviously like kind of building up for its big new season legacy update thing. So I got to have a little try of the arenas mode last week. So yeah, it seems good. I mean, I was getting completely smushed up by streamers and esports professionals, so I have no idea how balanced it is. But it was good when they were on your team, though, because then you could just kind of get a few shots in and be like, I helped. It was definitely me. Have someone carrying you. But it's fun, and it's nice to see that they're branching out into stuff other than just Battle Royale with the kind of 3v3 deathmatch thing.
Yeah, it's certainly different for Apex, which is like more, I think its popularity sort of crept up on me. I didn't realize how popular it was until they put out an announcement, I think it was last week, where they said they had 100 million players, which is, I mean, I know it's free to play, but still, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's consistently one of the top games in Steam. Like, you check now, it'll probably be like 4th or 5th most played at the moment.
Yeah, it's clearly, well, when we think about EA and the games that it makes, I almost don't think of Apex as an EA game. Like, I think of it as a Respawn game before I think of it as an EA game. But EA's got like one of the biggest battle royales in the world on its hands, and I don't think it really expected that to happen. But yeah, that's fantastic. And you play Apex on PC.
Yeah.
So you're actually really good at Apex. So when you're getting smashed by these players, it's because they are like Apex lifers, and it's not really fair, is it, for you to be...
Yeah, I guess it's like putting like some jogging enthusiasts in with like the US track team in a race and being like, yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's one thing doing it in your spare time, it's another thing like doing it basically is the center of your job, like learning how to play.
Or it is your job.
Yeah, exactly. That is being good at Apex is like your thing. Then
yeah,
but
I mean,
I understand why they do it. It's because for like the battle royale side of it, you need a lot of people in a lobby, otherwise no one gets to play, or you'd have to get a load of QA devs in or something to fill up the numbers. So I think that's why they put everyone in together, but it's always fun for the journalists who are trying to just keep up.
Yeah, and journalists are famously good at games as well, so they'll put you in because of that as well. Tom, I'm gonna guess that you've been playing Fortnite.
Well, I have, but I wanted to use this moment as an opportunity to present the thrilling conclusion to last week's mug check, which, if you remember, was a Zelda mug that transformed as hot water was poured into it.
Oh yeah.
But by the end of the newscast, I drunk all of the coffee that I was drinking. So here it is, fresh, and I've just put hot drink in there.
Wow.
Oh.
That's actually amazing, yeah.
And when I did it, I realized what I should have done is actually like brought the kettle over and done it on camera, and then it would have looked really cool. But by
that's
that point,
the next newscast.
Stay tuned for the thrilling third part. Yeah, and don't worry, I have a different mug as well for mug check later. So stay tuned.
I was actually worried.
That's what I've been playing this week. That's what I've been thinking about all week.
You've been playing the mug game. I mean, you've been playing that your whole life, haven't you? Okay.
Playing with you guys, yes.
So what's new in Fortnite? Anything interesting?
Yeah, well, this week, unfortunately, it was the introduction of Neymar Jr.
Oh yeah.
If you have the battle pass, you get Neymar Jr. for...
Stop calling him Neymar Jr. I just have to stop you there.
Is that not his name?
I'm sorry. I mean, it is obviously his name, but no one calls him that. He's just Neymar, okay? When you say Neymar Jr., it's
who's Neymar Senior?
Have a guess.
I don't know. There's like 3 Ronaldos. I don't get it.
Oh,
Anyway, so yeah, Neymar Jr. was added this week into Fortnite, and it was quite funny because people obviously just wanted to play to unlock him. They made it relatively easy, but you did need to go to specific places on the map to unlock him, and the game just broke this week. This was yesterday, and the game was just unplayable because everybody was trying to unlock Neymar Jr. No one was trying to play properly. Everyone was just landing at these places trying to unlock Neymar Jr.
Everyone, please play this game properly. It's a battle royale.
Yeah.
Play it according to the rules. I can just see you landing on the map, just pointing at everyone, telling everyone off.
So Epic had to come in and like rejig how some of the modes work because people were just using them to unlock Neymar Jr. and then leaving, which meant like the 3 people, including me, who were trying to still play properly, were left like basically like with an entire map and no one to shoot on it because everyone else had left.
You know what? That's I mean, I've been playing Warzone a fair bit this week, trying to do the most annoying challenges they've ever put in the game. It's called Hunt for Adler. I won't bore you with the backstory, but you're trying to find a character from the Black Ops Cold War campaign, and part of that is getting intel on the map. And it's been exactly the same, where everyone is literally heading straight for the intel every game. But it's worse in Warzone because they fucked it, basically. The challenge wasn't even tracking properly. So when you did it, it wasn't necessarily recording that you'd managed it. Sometimes the intel would spawn out of the map, out of bounds of the map, and when you go out of bounds, it goes like gives you a warning before you just automatically die. So people are bombing it out of the map, trying to get the intel before they just automatically died.
And they're trying to take choppers over there, and
it's just completely fucked the game. And they had to put a patch out like yesterday at the time on Wednesday this week, which stopped the intel spawning outside the map. And because they realize that the mode is basically broken, they're looking at ways of extending it so everyone has enough time to complete the challenges. So I feel you.
It's funny. It's funny just seeing human psyche take over, and there'll be some people who like want to help other people, and then you could kill the people that helped you unlock Neymar. And so if someone in the game kills them, then no one else in that game can then unlock Neymar. So
Epic, is that what you were doing?
No, that sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, you got a sniper rifle, you're off in a hill somewhere, just like
ruining the game for everyone.
It was interesting seeing people do that and just thinking, you bastards. Yeah. You have fucked everyone else in this entire lobby.
Who would do that?
And there's like moving on to some news. I mean, you did a funny, well, I say it's funny. It's not really funny, but it's kind of funny. Story about team killing in Apex.
Oh god, yeah. So teaming it's an issue in a lot of battle royales, but Apex seems to have had a problem with it for quite a while, particularly in like the ranked lobbies where everyone's trying to get points and get up to like Apex Predators, like the top tier of it. So there was a new and exciting variation on teaming this week, which is that someone who queued in like the diamonds, like the kind of penultimate tier with 2 random other people. They were just playing match as they were doing, trying to be a good teammate and talking to their squad mates. And apparently this squad mate's like, oh yeah, should we go to this drop? Yeah, like this bit here. This looks like a good spot. Turns out that those 2 people were in communication with another squad who then killed this poor innocent player, and the 2 teammates were just like constantly respawning this guy so that the other team could keep killing him and getting kill points. So they were basically all in it, and this poor guy was just in a death loop. And if you leave ranked play as well, you get a penalty for leaving, because obviously Respawn doesn't want to encourage people to just like leave, and if they get like a legend pick they don't like or something. So this guy's like, do I just let myself get killed over and over again, or do I like leave and take the penalty? and they went for the leaving option in the end, but they got, I think you get like a temporary ban on queuing in ranked. And it was like, oh, that's bad. So hopefully those people get banned because they got caught, you know, on
Well,
video.
you reported on it, so wow. We're all playing the big battle royales, and each one of them is balked in its own special, unique way.
That's the thing when you get free battle royales. It's just people are like, oh, good, an opportunity to cheat. I don't have to buy this game. I could just create infinite Smurf accounts or whatever. So it becomes harder to police them.
Stay safe out there, battle royale fans. Okay, let's talk about the news. Wow, I just realised we could literally do a battle royale cast, couldn't we? We're just so typical. We're so mainstream.
Please don't switch off.
This is what keeps people interested. Let's talk about Sony. Sony reported its financial results for its whole entire year this week. And I know financial results are pretty boring, but I think this is worth talking about because it's pretty remarkable. PlayStation has had its best financial year of all time. So going back to the first PlayStation, PS1, when that came out, it brought in more money in the last financial year up to the end of March 2021 than any previous financial year ever before. And I think that's just incredible. The PS5 is now up to 7.8 million. That's by the end of March 2021. So when you consider we've had pretty much all of April now, it's probably 8 million, maybe even 9 million. I don't know, something like that. What's interesting is to compare that where it is versus PS4. PS4 was 7.6 million in the same time frame. So PS5 7.8, PS4 7.6. So the PS5 is tracking ahead of the PS4, and while it's incredibly supply constrained. Like as soon as Sony puts a PS5 out into the channel, into retail, it's gone like that, isn't it? I mean, you still can't get one.
Imagine what those numbers would have looked like if the PS5 had actually been in stock.
Imagine what it would look like. Yeah, exactly. So it's basically the fastest selling console ever, despite being the rarest console ever. It's an incredible situation, incredible success. Like, I don't know what you guys are thinking the PS5 would do, but holy shit, it is successful. And so I'm trying to report on this here, do a story, and like we're not great at maths, are we, as a team? Let's be honest. Whenever we have these stories where you have to think about numbers, I always think we really struggle. Like I'm terrible at maths. Matt Wells, Eurogamer's evening news reporter. I was chatting with him last night, and he's terrible at maths.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Another one.
Really bad. Like, as bad as we are.
People.
And he has this theory, which is if you can write, let's just say we can write. If you can write, you can't be good at maths. It's one or the other. You can't. And I'm like, really? I mean, is that true? But look at us.
Agreed. Yeah.
All four of us cannot add. We can't do anything. And but we can write. Maybe that theory is true. Anyway, this story, Sony said that for the financial year, the division, the part of the business which has PlayStation, saw sales of, and this is my pop quiz to you, yeah, sales of 2,656 billion yen. Right, now here's my question to you: how many zeros is that?
Was that 26 billion?
Wait, yeah, what can you say it again?
Okay, I'll say it again. 2,656 billion yen. 2,656 billion yen. Right, so you've got 2656, and then how many zeros?
9.
Emma?
I don't know. My brain's just shut down. That number.
Tom's got it. The answer is 9.
And if you take 2 of those off, I think it converts very roughly, or is it 3 of them off into dollars?
I didn't know that. I just used a currency converter. It took me about an hour to work out how to convert the currency using the correct number of zeros.
You know, in Google, you can just type in 2,600 billion yen as words, like 2,600 and then
Don't
billion.
work, mate.
It does into pounds. And
I don't want to know that.
It does.
Anyway, that is 2.6 trillion yen. If you can imagine a trillion yen, which I can't. Ultimately, 17.5 billion pounds, which is easier for me to understand, even though it is still a ridiculous amount of money. 17.5 billion pounds, and off the back of that, they made 2.26 billion in profit. It's the biggest financial performance of any game company ever in a single period, which is, PS4 plus PS5, all the money they make through PlayStation Plus sales, all the money they make through microtransactions. Remember, Sony gets a 30% cut of any money that you spend on the PlayStation Store. So if you buy a pack on FIFA in PlayStation of Ultimate Team, Sony gets its cut. All your fish sticks, Tom, Sony's got 30% of that. And like Fortnite, anything Fortnite on PlayStation. PlayStation is massive for Fortnite. And then also, they had some big PS4 games come out that in the financial year. Remember Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, massive games. What an incredible year PlayStation had with the launch of the PS5. It really is astonishing. And they're talking about this current financial year. They expect to see even bigger sales.
Yeah, £70 games now, isn't it?
Yeah. And 12 months of PlayStation 5 rather than just 2 or 3.
Yeah. I mean, a huge amount of people are still playing on PS4. Huge amount of people. The PS5 is tiny compared to the number of people who are still playing on PS4. So that's still the console that's making the most money, but it's obviously going to change. Now, the key thing here, I think, is worth noting is what you used to get with first party when they release a console is you'd get when they launch a console, they would lose money because it'd take a lot of money for them to launch it. There's a lot of R&D, there's a lot of expense marketing it, there's a lot of money that they spend, just getting the whole thing going. And typically they lose money on the sale of consoles. It's just been a loss leader at launch. And they actually said in their financials, we do lose money on every PS5 sold, which everyone sort of knew. But they managed to break the cycle this time around, where they are losing money on each PS5 sold, and they have spent a whole load of money, getting it off the ground with the launch. But they're making so much money from game sales and DLC and digital stuff and PlayStation Plus. They're making so much money that it just completely outweighed that. So they haven't made a loss at that period. And historically, that's typically what would happen. Sony has broken the cycle. They've found a way to launch a console without making a loss. It's just astonishing.
Who'd have thought raising game prices would do that? I'm very happy for them. They've broken the cycle and they've also broken people's wallets.
They do say that they hope to increase revenue by improving hardware profitability. So, the way these things go, eventually the components sort of get cheaper and they can actually break even on console sales, whatever. But Sony is just absolutely killing it. And Microsoft is also killing it. And Microsoft's financials this week, fascinating, which is worth talking about because they've had some really interesting things to say. They reported their third quarter of their financial year, so they're on a different time frame for Sony. The first quarter of this year, calendar year, is their third financial quarter, so January, February, March, and gaming revenue shot up 50%. Now, Microsoft doesn't say how many consoles they've sold, and I think there's a reason for that. Because clearly they haven't sold as many as PlayStation, have they?
No, Wes, it's because they want to focus in on Xbox Game Pass. Yes, that's the reason. They stopped during Xbox One era.
Yeah,
because
when
they're
it was
being beaten so badly.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But they're saying that things have been going incredibly well for this quarter. And this is the quarter after the Christmas quarter where the Xbox Series X and S launched. So everything is going up, and this is the first quarter that they factored in the ZeniMax purchase. So all the money that ZeniMax is making is now contributing to their numbers. Is for the first time because that
all those Skyrim ports.
Yeah, all those Skyrim ports. Doom running on a toaster, they get 30% cut of that. Now, this is a really interesting thing. So they talked about, they did percentage growth, which is sort of, it's hard to get a handle on. But they said the growth was driven by strength from third-party titles, Xbox Game Pass subscriptions, and I want to talk to you about that after this, and first-party titles, and they singled out Minecraft. Now, in my mind, I don't know if this is like same for you, but in my mind, Minecraft is just this game that came out a long time ago, and yeah, it's still going, and people still play it. But I had no idea just how popular this game is, and it's growing. Microsoft said it's got nearly 140 million monthly active users. I can't believe it. That's incredible.
Microsoft also runs a little store which like helps people kind of develop their own game modes and stuff like that for Minecraft. So I imagine that has also helped a little bit with that.
Yeah, that store is extremely lucrative.
It's worth. I'm glad that you mentioned it because this is where I think things get really interesting from what they're saying. They said creators have generated over $350 million from more than 1 billion downloads of mods, add-ons, and other experiences in Minecraft. That is not including activity outside Microsoft's own marketplace. So God knows what's going on there. But just from that, and then here's the quote. This is from Satya Nadella, who's the boss of Microsoft, in an investor call. He said, as games evolve into metaverse economies, we are building new tools to help anyone sell creations on our platforms. Metaverse economies. He's saying games are evolving into this. Emma, what is a metaverse economy?
Yes, it's Roblox, isn't it, or something, or Fortnite. I guess Minecraft and Roblox feel like they're more in the same category, and it's like a lot of user-generated content and kind of, making some proceeds off that. Fortnite is a little bit more just like we're going to do 1 million brand deals and get every single kind of thing you could into the game. But I feel like generally that is the way these big platforms are going. They're just like broadening out to encompass everything.
So he's talking about Minecraft and the idea, like Roblox, right? Which is people are making a lot of money making games within Roblox and then selling them, and then the people behind Roblox get a cut of that, right? Of all of this stuff. I think Roblox even has its own currency that people can use for this.
Yeah, I think it's like Robux or something.
And Minecraft seems to be the same thing. They even talked about Microsoft Flight Simulator being like this, because apparently you can build your own experiences and sell them for real world money in Flight Simulator. And he's talking about games evolving into these metaverse economies. And I think that's really fascinating because I've never really thought about games like that before. I sort of think of games as, there are some games that you can use user-generated content, like Dreams. Sony, I guess, has Dreams, but it's not. I wouldn't call that a metaverse economy game.
As far as I'm aware, in Dreams, you share stuff that you've made, but you don't make any money back from it. And the metaverse economy concept is that games become more than a game. They become a livelihood for people, that they can be somewhere where you could earn a living if you made content for certain things, kind of like how Steam Marketplace exists, but to bring it within a game itself. So yeah, like Roblox is a great example of that.
It seems to me like this is the this is what Microsoft thinks of the future could be. Am I right in understanding you can't actually do that in Fortnite at the moment? I mean, you can create stuff.
There's
right?
like creator codes and stuff like that.
Can you sell them?
Yeah, you can't sell that direct to other players. Epic can promote creative stuff as if they were official modes in the game, and when they do that, there is like the people who've made the stuff get paid for it. But there's no player-to-player purchase option at the moment. I think it's probably something that Epic are looking forward to introducing at some point, as they've very openly stated that they want Fortnite to be their version of the metaverse. They've been very bold on that front.
Right, so Fortnite turned into Roblox. Minecraft is already Roblox, or should we say Roblox is already Minecraft? I'm not even sure anymore. Even Microsoft Flight Simulator. So Sony kind of missed a trick with Dreams, really, didn't it? I mean, it could have been, probably should have been something like this.
Who knows what they've got planned for it, right? Like when they've said that they're going to bring a bunch more games to PC, I think that bringing in that audience would be the best time to launch that kind of thing. So it's at the moment, I would say Dreams is yet to reach its full potential. And if they want to stick with it, then you could see them adding in this kind of stuff down the line.
That's a good point. What about Nintendo? Can you see Nintendo turning its games into metaverse economies?
No.
But it's got Mario Maker.
Yeah, I
think you could let people sell their Mario levels.
I think Nintendo's still trying to get its head around online. That might be a bit much for it.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo needs to work out a way for itself to sell Mario first before it lets other people do it.
Yeah, it was really disappointing this week to see like we've reached Animal Crossing's year anniversary, and like the content has just dried up, because Animal Crossing would be the perfect Nintendo version of this. But in a way, I'm glad that it's not, because you can share designs for clothes and things in Animal Crossing, and it's all free. So that's just not what they're interested in.
Yeah, and it's not like it's doing badly for them.
No, that's true. They don't seem to be playing the same game as everyone else, do they? They just sort of like see these trends rise and fall, and they just keep pumping out Mario and just let it all happen, and it's still fine. Emma, you were mentioning the cheese rolling thing in Animal Crossing as being something close to your heart this week.
Yeah, so I don't think there's like a cheese wheel that's popped up in like the ad for Animal Crossing update, and I think it's connected to like the cheese rolling, which takes place near where I grew up at Cupid's Hill in Gloucestershire. I've never actually seen it, but I have walked up that hill when I got lost to Duke of Edinburgh. It's very steep. People hurl themselves down it after a wheel of cheese. You basically have to try and grab it before everyone else.
That's how it works. So you're not just pushing the cheese down the hill.
No, so someone just
chase it.
I think it's like a double Gloucester. That's like a specific cheese wheel that they use, or something. I don't know. But then it tumbles down and you see about 20 people just hurtling after it. Normally breaking bones. By the time they reach the bottom, it's just like a mangled pile of people.
If Nintendo has any balls, that's the mini game they're adding to Animal Crossing. Just letting all the villagers fall down a hill chasing some cheese.
I don't think they're doing that.
No, they're not doing that. Anyway, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony are all making bucket loads of money. Gaming seems to me to be as big as it's ever been. Probably the biggest it's been of all time. I know last year lockdown really boosted gaming, and so it's not perhaps going to reach those heights again. But clearly, this industry is peaking. Let's talk a bit about Apex Legends. We mentioned it earlier, but I think it's worth talking more about that. And you had an interesting interview with the people behind it this week, Emma, where they talked a bit about what might be happening with the game in the future, and it branching out from Battle Royale.
Yeah, so they've been saying in like the Q&A for the legacy update that this is like the first step of going beyond battle royale, and that's the kind of term that they keep using. So it seems to me like they're probably thinking long term that Apex is going to be a platform with several big game modes, be the battle royale, arenas, and then maybe they'll have a few more permanent ones. They've already been doing like limited time modes, which is like a pretty common thing for battle royales, but they have been quite experimental with some of those. So I think maybe they're using that as like a testing ground for maybe ideas that they can develop into more permanent features. So I asked a little bit about maybe what they're thinking, you know, down the line, what they've been experimenting with, like how far would they go with it? Would they do stuff like gauntlet runs of single player, that kind of thing? And Chad Grenier, who's the game director, said that they had been kind of experimenting with PvE and quests, and he actually saw that in one of the earlier Apex seasons, because there was like a little storyline and you could do like a little solo quest basically. And it sounded like they were thinking of doing like more of that and potentially like a more significant mode for it, but they had to put it on pause because of just COVID and trying to manage workloads. I think they've been quite keen to, they have like a very strict no crunch policy at Respawn, and they've been eager to not let that happen by being too ambitious. So they decided to just focus on the PvP content, and I guess like this enormous like legacy update as well is probably taken quite a bit of work. So
I mean, the thing that we all want to know is Titanfall 3. I mean, Titanfall 3 is clearly not a game that they're developing, right?
Yeah, they've said that quite a few times now.
Yeah.
I think it's
Apex, the new Star Wars. I can't remember. I can never remember the name of the Star Wars game that they made.
There's another new IP as well that they said they were hiring for as well. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
So not much room in there for Titanfall 3, which is unfortunate for Titanfall fans. But they're leaning on Titanfall at the moment, aren't they? For Apex Legends, they're putting some of the lore in. And I guess the question is, you know, is Titanfall 3 more or less the kind of thing that could happen within Apex?
Well, if you're asking about Titans, then it sounds like they're not very keen on the idea of that at the moment. They said that, you know, they like Titans and they think they're cool, but the balance with Apex at the moment, they don't feel the need to bring them in, and it would probably upset it a bit. So even if it was like a separate mode with Titans, it doesn't sound like something they're thinking about in right now, but they said never say never. So I think something that might be more likely to see in the future is like single player PvE content, which sounds quite exciting.
Yeah, and that could lean quite heavily on Titanfall then, couldn't it? Because they're in the same universe, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like this season they brought probably the most Titanfall lore into it, but it's all kind of set as like, you know, it's called like the Outlands. It's like on the outskirts of the Titanfall universe, and I think it takes place like after the big war, so it's more dealing with like the kind of aftermath of the war, and all these legends in the arena and how they ended up there. And it sounds like they're going to continue, you know, bringing some bits of lore in the future.
It's set in a part of the Titanfall universe which earns EA money.
Yes, we all know not enough people play Titanfall 2. Which, speaking of which, a lot of people are playing Titanfall 2 at the moment. Thanks for that, Tom.
Slightly more. I wouldn't say a lot.
I mean, when you start with nothing, it's only ways up. But Emma, you reported on this week. Titanfall 2 is having a bit of a moment on Steam, and a lot of it seems to be to do with Apex.
Yeah, for sure, because there was a Steam sale.
Say that 3 times fast.
And at the same time, there's been so much Titanfall lore brought into the Legacy update. Probably got a lot of Apex players going, I don't know who this character is. I'm going to go play Titanfall 2 and find out more. And like, I'm thinking you're going to do that because I haven't done that yet.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah, I think so. Well, here's another thing as well, is that EA Play and like Xbox Game Pass, you know, like Titanfall 2 is on there. So it's quite easy for people to go back and access that now on Xbox or PC, let alone Steam. So yeah, I need to go do that. I'm going to install it tonight, do that. And I'll report back next time. But no, it's a really good combination of factors, and it's like, I think it's the most players it's had on Steam since Titanfall 2 was brought to Steam last year.
Wow. I mean, I don't think this is going to convince EA to all of a sudden green light.
I mean,
Titanfall 3 or anything.
God knows how many, like 200,000 people playing Apex at once, and then it was like a peak of 16K for Titanfall 2. I feel like that'd be a hard sell.
Okay. Lots happening in the world of Titanfall, and let's bring it back to another battle royale, which we have talked about. This really is the battle royale show. But Tom, you wrote about some interesting stuff to do with Fortnite in a more business sense. Epic goes to war with Apple next month in one of the most hyped lawsuits I think I can remember in all of video games. Over, I mean, I know what Epic is saying, and I know what Tim Sweeney, the boss of Epic, is saying about why they're doing this, but it just looks like it's all about money to me, and the amount of money they get from the App Store. But as part of this lawsuit, some really juicy stuff has come out about the internal business mechanisms that power Fortnite. And I've done a little bit of reporting about this as well when stuff has come out that has sort of been interesting. Some of the allegations between these two companies are hilarious as well. I remember reporting that Apple basically said, the only reason you're doing this, Epic, is because no one's playing Fortnite anymore, which is obviously not true, but it's quite funny. And this week there was two parts to what's come out. One to do with where Fortnite is making the most of its money, which platforms, and also why Microsoft doesn't have it on Project X Cloud. Tom, you wrote this story. Let's start with why you can't play Fortnite on Project X Cloud.
Yeah, I mean, that is down to the fact that Epic is very closely aligned with NVIDIA GeForce Now, which is an alternative streaming method of getting things onto phones. And that's the one that they have said that they're going with to get Fortnite back onto iPhone after Apple booted it off the App Store last year when they tried to bring in a direct payment method, a method that circumvented Apple's 30% take and let you buy fish sticks from Epic directly, so that Epic got 100% of your fish stick money. So because of that and that close partnership with GeForce Now, they've been working on a browser-based version of the game, which will just run like Microsoft has a browser-based version now of xCloud, which will just run in Safari on your iPhone or iPad. They aren't, Epic isn't going to put Fortnite on xCloud or Xbox Cloud Gaming, as Microsoft decides to call it.
I can't not call it Project X Cloud.
I think we're all just going to ignore Microsoft and be like, look, we're going to call your product what we want because it just makes more sense.
xCloud is the perfect name for it. It's Xbox Cloud. I mean, why?
I don't know what's going on in the Microsoft naming stuff after all the consoles and everything. Series X.
Yeah,
they need to rethink this.
yeah. Just
I don't understand either. Yes, so because of that deal with GeForce Now, Epic isn't going to put Fortnite on xCloud, and presumably that's because GeForce Now runs from PCs. So on Fortnite on PC, Epic will get 100% of your fish stick money. xCloud or Xbox Cloud Gaming runs from Xboxes. They are the Xbox version of the game running. Even if it's streamed to your iPhone, there's an Xbox somewhere in Microsoft's data center running Fortnite and beaming the information to you. And because of that, your transaction will be beamed to that Xbox architecture, and it will go through the Xbox marketplace, and the 30% the Xbox takes will go, and Epic will only get 70% of your fish stick money. So that's why they're not doing that. Presumably, the court documents didn't like explicitly state that, but they did say we aren't interested in putting it on xCloud, and that seems to be the obvious reason why.
Who knew fish stick money would cause so much fuss? You know what? I'd love to know how much you've spent just specifically on fish stick. Like, you know, forget about Fortnite as a whole, but just fish stick. I wonder. Okay,
No
so
comment.
no comment. Yeah. So also as part of this lawsuit, we have some interesting info, perhaps not surprising info, about where Epic is making most of its Fortnite money, and it's PS4, right?
Yeah, by some margin. I don't have the figure in front of me right now, but I think it's something like 40% was on PlayStation 4 and 25% was on Xbox. This was over the period from 2018 to sometime last year. So it doesn't include next-gen platforms, but yeah, 45-ish PlayStation, 25-ish Xbox. Not hugely surprising. I think if you looked at the global numbers for those platforms, like that split would be pretty similar to the sales figures.
I bet
that
it's exactly the same.
The Microsoft won't say how many Xboxes
Yeah.
it sold. You could probably just look at Fortnite's things and work it out from that. Less than those two consoles, PC and Switch. And then surprisingly, I thought right at the bottom below all of the consoles and PC was iPhone. I had a couple of thoughts why that might be. I think that a lot of Fortnite cosmetics, you buy them because like there's some genuinely extravagant cosmetics in that game. They're really well designed, and if you're playing on a mobile platform, you probably don't get the most out of Fortnite's cosmetics. And I would also say that like the mobile audience is probably the most casual and less likely to spend money. But yes, in a lawsuit about like, do we really care that much? It's important for them to note that actually Apple was never a huge revenue driver for them.
I mean, you say that. It was
Comparatively.
still $700 million in 2 years.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
If I was better at maths, I'd be able to work out if, say, the iPhone store was 2% of the overall revenues and it was $600 million.
Then how much is the rest?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop you there because
I can't.
I had no way. I can't even begin. I don't even know where to start with that. Like I could type it out on Google and hope that they somehow understand it and give me the answer. Yeah. So and you know, this ties into what we were saying about Sony's financials. Imagine how much money Sony makes out of Fortnite microtransactions on PlayStation 4.
Yeah. Interestingly, while we've been recording, Microsoft has just announced that it's moving its PC game store to an 88 to 12% revenue split rather than 70-30.
Oh, wow. Hot off the press.
Yeah. So while we've been talking,
because we're talking about
it ties into what we were talking about, the metaverses and stores earlier, which is that Microsoft clearly wants to encourage content on its PC store, which obviously is way, way behind Steam and Epic Game Store as well. Encouraging people to put stuff on there to get a better cut for themselves in doing so.
Well, you know, why not do that on Xbox consoles?
Like, I think they should.
You know, if it's a different split on PC, seems like it should be that split on console as well. And if it is, you know, does that put pressure on Sony and Nintendo to do the same? Interesting. It's all happening. I like it. Okay. I want to talk about Riot before we go, because there's quite an incredible story that you did this week about Riot and League of Legends and a fan project. But even more than that, some of the language used by someone who works at Riot, which I thought was just hilarious.
Truly incredible. Yeah.
Truly incredible. All right, you explain, Emma.
All right. The context is that there was a group of people working on a fan project for League of Legends, which is basically a legacy version of the game, like a 10-year-old version of it that you could play on a server, and you'd be able to just like kind of time warp back and it'd be like, oh, there it is. But apparently about a year ago when that was announced, someone from Riot did actually kind of comment on the Reddit post being like, please don't do this. We've got very strict policies about don't make a separate game using our IP because we don't like it. And the lawyers will go after you. And lo and behold, a year later, the lawyers went after the project people, and one of them did like an informal conversation on Discord, which is apparently something they like to do before sending people legal letters. And this guy called Riot Zed I don't know, he just thought he was like some kind of Italian mafia member or something. It was just really bizarre. Like some of the things they were saying was like, oh, I work in security, I find people and things. And like, I can see you put a lot of work into Chrono Shift, but it's about to become Chrono Break. Which is the best line, I think. Yeah, and I think it was kind of, it was pretty spectacular Discord conversation. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh, no way, is that real? Surely not. But it was, yeah. And Riot said is disappointed with the tenor of the conversation and will be discussing it internally. So
I would love to be a fly on the wall for that discussion. Yeah. I think that conversation, that Discord conversation, has elevated this story beyond, you know, company shuts down fan project, which you get a lot, right? These things happen all the time. But the way that this person was talking to them, it was just so funny. Like, yeah,
it's really worth going to look at the screenshot of the conversation if you want a little giggle.
Yeah. So what is actually happening? Do they essentially have to shut this down now?
So I think the projects, like when they had that conversation and got the letter a few days ago, were like, we're shutting down now. And they've since come out and said that they're like annoyed with it. And I think they were trying to suggest that Riot would be trying to like pinch their code to make their own legacy version. I'm thinking like, buddy, like Riot will just make their own version. Like they made the game. I don't think they need your code to do it. No. But
yeah, this reminds me of something Blizzard went through actually with World of Warcraft. Where it had fan projects were trying to create what Blizzard has essentially gone on to release, which is World of Warcraft Classic. So there is monetary value in companies essentially re-releasing their games the way they used to be when it comes to service games or like, you know, MMOs and stuff like that. So when fans do it, they're basically taking away money from potential revenue from the sale of something that would be similar from themselves. So I'm not surprised that Riot, you know, has shut this down. It's just the way that it's happened is so funny. And Riot, like, what is this company? Like,
can they not just pass a week without doing something
extremely dramatic and silly?
I know. Like just silly decisions from game companies like never ceases to amaze me. There's one a day at least. It's like they're all trying desperately to outdo themselves with the dumb factor. So they're making tons of money, but they're stupid. It's brilliant. Right, we should wrap up there with the Eurogamer newscast mug check. You had a bit of you had your moment earlier, Tom. So I'm going to start with Emma.
Who's
looking at something that suggests there's going to be a big reveal.
Oh, it's a student uni mug. Like, I'm just not going to say anything about this. Oh wait, no, it's going to be backwards because of the mirror. I don't even want to read it. It's not backwards. Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god.
No comment.
Oh my god.
It's the last mug I have.
You can never take the piss out of any of our mugs ever again. Okay, Tom.
Well, swooping in with something that's not a lot better. Here's a Star Wars mug that I got in 2002 when it was the 25th anniversary of Star Wars. Because I've been a Star Wars nerd now for a very long time. 2002 was 19 years ago.
Why would you say that?
Grief.
Why would you say that?
See, I can do maths.
Go on, Emma. What were you doing in 2002?
I would have been in year 2, so infant school.
Star Wars.
Okay. My mug was given to me by an in-law. Well, not one of my in-laws, my wife's sister. So my sister-in-law. Not when I say in-laws, I automatically think of her parents. So my sister-in-law for, you know, I don't know if any of your families do this at Christmas, but Secret Santa, where everyone's name goes into a hat you pick out one name, so everyone doesn't have to buy everyone a present. You save some money. And my sister-in-law, at the time, I was getting into this new social platform that had emerged called Twitter. No one had heard of it really. And in our family, I'm the nerd, right? So I'm the tech person, which is a terrifying thought. They thought that I just wouldn't stop tweeting or going on Twitter whenever I was around the family. I was just on my phone on Twitter all the time.
I mean,
yeah, I know. Right? Nothing's changed.
Oh, Wes is watching football.
Yeah, on Twitter. So they got me this, which is the first year of Twitter's life. And
oh my goodness.
Wow, look at that handle.
And the
That is
handle
actually
is the
incredible.
hashtag.
Holy shit. That's pretty cool.
I'm surprised. That's a
That
good mug.
handle's
Yeah. And
solid.
doesn't it very comfy though?
No, it's
To like
not.
hold that.
It's not. It's ridiculous. It's like wearing. It's like,
like a
if
knuckle
I-
duster.
duster.
a knuckle. If someone invaded my home, I would go for.
With the Twitter mug. Weapon of choice.
Yeah. And it's the same on the side, so it's no different. Maybe it should be this way actually, because you do hashtag something that way. Yeah, so you can see it there. So yeah, that is like year 0 Twitter mug.
Wow.
I think
Nice.
I won this week. I never win this.
Congrats.
Wow.
Gonna have to buy some more mugs.
You have to tweet about it.
I'm going to tweet about the newscast with me holding a picture of me holding this up. Now that's metaverse. Right, thanks very much for your time, guys. Tom, for more fish stick microtransactions, where should people go on Twitter?
On Twitter, it's @TomPhillipsEG.
And Emma, for more Apex Deathloop news, where should people go?
@GoneEFK.
And I'm @WYP100. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.